Welcome to another United in Spirit podcast. Just got back from the game against Leeds and frustrating. And we'll get straight into the reaction to that game. Coming behind in the first minute, it's not the greatest thing to do in the world, is it? Really, you're always going to be fighting back. And from the start of the game to how it ended, it kind of was the same story. It's just too erratic in midfield that we had no control in midfield when it was individual draws really, and that's credit to Leeds because they made the game. What they wanted was a game of transitions. That was Leeds' strong point on Jesse Marsh. We didn't know how they were going to play, but we kind of knew they're probably going to play the same style. When they did, they just narrow 4-4-2 press, and when it's in midfield, get bodies in there, get bodies in around there, and work hard off the ball. And they did that. They really did that. And United really struggled with that. Nonto scoring the first goal. And United, they got their chances. Garnacho had a couple of good chances. Varane had a good chance. But we never really got control of the game, created chance after chance. We had these chances here and there. But in the first half, it was just, we never got control. And I think that was the midfield. I've never seen a player more important to a team than Casemiro is to this team. Without him, we are so lost in transition defensively. He puts out so many fires, and I think what we really noticed him when he's not there today. And Sabitzer and Fred, yeah, I understand it's their first game together, but they're both front-footed players. They both like pressing the other team. They're both like moving up to get the ball. They don't like sit back positionally and cut out and read the game that well. Casemiro is that player. He can do both. That's how good Casemiro is. He can do both roles. But Casemiro puts out so many fires to his team. He just reads the game so well. If he plays, we win that game 3-4-0 easily. Easily. But yeah, obviously we haven't got him suspended from another game. But it was weird in midfield today. Spitzer had an all right game. It wasn't amazing, but wasn't terrible. Could have scored as well. Good save by Melier. He had a couple of them. Fred is one of them games. When you rely on Fred to do well, when you go, come on Fred, be the leader of his team, he completely falls to pieces. When the emphasis on him to do well, he completely falls to pieces. When he's alongside Casemiro, and Casemiro is the leader in the field, when he's not meant to be doing the job expected of him, he plays really well. But when you rely on him, when you haven't got that anchor next to him, it's not good, is it? He was so bad in possession, simple balls, simple passes. What the amount of times where he could have turned and gone face, but he just kept playing it back. It wasn't good. It just reminded me when it was next to McTominay. It really did. And he had a couple chances to score at the end. He snatched at them and no composure there. It was one of them Fred games. He has the lowest floor I've ever seen for a footballer who also has a good high ceiling as well. It's the biggest gap in terms of ability you can see. But yeah, but we were 1-0 down going into half time, and you think we can come out strong. We were the better team in the first half. We had chances to score in the first half. If Garnacho didn't snatch a couple of things. If we passed it around better. We got in behind, for some cutbacks. If we, positionally better in them, we could have done something. But then we just go and concede straight away. Varane with the own goal, they took their chance. They came out. They went straight onto us, and fair play to them. They attacked twice. Really, I wouldn't say they attacked twice. They threw a load of body forwards twice. And I was straight at the kickoffs, and that's where we were at our weakest. Just got into the game, a bit cold and just wasn't revved up, and they caught us out, caught us straight out. And from there, it's always going to be impossible really to score 3 goals, especially against a rival. And they didn't, fair play to this. They didn't sit back all the way. They made it difficult. They weren't sitting all the way back, as you expect some teams to do under a new manager. You just say, just low block it now, get narrow and avoid chances. But they went with a good mid block, and they did quite well. To be fair, we really struggled, and I think the struggle was in the first half, Rashford just wasn't involved. All the play was between Garnacho and Shaw on that left hand side, and they haven't got that chemistry together. Garnacho, I'm not going to say anything about him. He played well, I think. He got in behind a couple of times, but he's 18 years old. He's going to have these kind of games where it's just frustrating. But if he works out a couple of wrinkles in his game where he just seems to lose balance quite a few times, but I think he's so far ahead of his play. He overthinks it and brushes it. So we get the ball and then he'll go, I'll go there, go there, go there. But if he just calmed it down and slow his pace down a little bit, I think he'll do a lot better. But his brain seems to go a million miles an hour against Norwich, where he has to do something. If he can't, when he has calmed it down, he's done really well. But I think the last couple of weeks he's been rushing some things, and I think just slowing the player down, get the ball under control first, get others involved. That's when he's at his best. But when he's rushing, he's stumbling, he's brain going a million miles an hour, he's not as effective. And having Marcus out on the right, isolated, he had supported Dado a couple of times, but just wasn't really there. Marcus has been such a good form on that left hand side. It seemed a bit weird to me. Obviously, Sancho probably wasn't fit to play 90 minutes. That's probably why Garnacho had to start. But yeah, it's annoying. The injuries hasn't helped. I think what also showed was how important Anthony is to this team. We had no width on that right until Palestri came on. That right hand side there was nothing there. There was just nothing there. Anthony gives us a completely different dimension there. I hope people realise how important he is to this team and why Ten Hag brought him in, because he knows the system and he plays it really well. He might not have the end product everyone likes, but for the team to work tactically, he's so important. He's completely different to every other player we have there. And going to second half, he did switch Rashford and Garnacho. With Garnacho on the right, it didn't work, and Weghorst up front, I think it's difficult for Weghorst, because there are moments where you go, that's better than what we had with Ronaldo up front and stuff like that, but is it enough? Probably not. But with Martial out injured, with Anthony out injured, with Eriksen, Donny, we have no other options but to play him, and hopefully, we'll talk about the Takeover stuff later, but a striker in the summer is so needed. We're a bit better with Rashford up front. I think, a bit more pacing behind. I think that's what we were missing, probably. We had that no threat in behind, Rashford got in behind. We could have gone 3-2 up, but the player pulled him back and got the yellow card for it. But we had that no pacing behind threat through the middle. It was quite easy to defend at times. But I think we were still able to create chances. Yeah, but that start of the second half wasn't great. But then, we grew into the game, had some chances here and there. It wasn't anything special, but Rashford with the header. I was thinking just a couple of times, Dalot kept putting in balls, and there was so many times we brought Weghorst off, and we were like, why are we crossing? And Rashford just scores that header. Amazing header. Really good work from him. And then the momentum builds up, the crowd got going, and we got that second goal. Jadon Sancho's returned. How nice is that? On the left-hand side, good play, and then he gets the goal, finishes it well. It's good to have him back. If we didn't have Sancho today, we are starting Palestri on that right-hand side. It's funny how every other club has an injury crisis right now, and nobody's talking about Man United. And I also want to say, he said Wan-Bissaka's ill and Sancho's ill. How bad are our team's immune systems? I swear we have illnesses all the time. Lindelof had it, McTominay's had it, Maguire had it. Our immune systems are terrible at the club. It's not great, but Sancho has returned, and it's good to have him back. We need him. We really need him. I think he needs to start on Sunday against Leeds. And whether Anthony's fit, he's probably on the left-hand side with Rashford up top. If Anthony's not fit, I wouldn't mind a Rashford, Garnacho, Sancho front three. I think that'll work. But yeah, more minutes in the tank. He had 20. He had what? How long did he have? He had half an hour on the pitch, which is good. Get the minutes in. He didn't come up against. He would have come up probably up on against Palace, but going down to the red card, you don't really want to put him on in that scenario. But he had a couple of good moments. It's not gonna be. He's not gonna be great play straight away, but he had a couple of good moments. Interlinked with Shaw. I think we need to get him working in around the team because he hasn't been in around this team that much. Get him connected because I think he can have a really good relationship with most players like Dalot, Shaw, Fernandes, Casemiro, Rashford. He can get Martial. He's a very good player that can connect with them all. And yeah, we needed him. Needed him in this game. He was our only option off the bench that was really going to change anything. That you had that faith in changing. There was Pellistri, Elanga, Mainu, and all that. But I looked at the bench earlier and was like, whoa, where's our players? Like, we had nothing. Absolutely nothing. But yeah. But then we got the goal and it kind of just it died down a bit. We had that Varane header, Bruno's header, but then nothing really happened. We weren't really able to make chances after that. Leeds didn't offer anything, but we still weren't able to maintain pressure on them at times. We weren't able to create chances and keep creating chances. We would create a chance and there'll be 5-10 minutes later until we create another one because there'll be so many batting fields, so many horrible fouls that we gave away, so many bad passes that would ruin attacks. It was a really sloppy performance on a lot of levels in a transition defensively, just passing. It was a sloppy performance by multiple players, and it didn't help. But overall, not the best performance. But at least we got a draw when we did play really badly. We did play really badly, and we gave away 2 opportunities really, and they scored. First minute, scoring 47 minutes. A long range strike and an own goal. It happens sometimes, and it's just one of the games. But every ball seems to keep falling to their players every time. It would just bounce off one of our players, but that's the game Leeds want, isn't it? That's what their style was under Jesse Marsch. And if he was still manager, it probably wouldn't have worked. But they had something to fight for. They had a new emphasis into the game. It was completely different, but that's their style. Get the ball into the middle, create a ruckus in there, and likelihood it will bounce somewhere, and you pounce on it whilst it's up the pitch. That's their style, and it worked at times. It did keep bouncing off players. Neither Fred or Sabitzer were really able to control the game. It was annoying because the midfield really had no part in this game, especially when we were up the pitch. The midfield was really anonymous when we were up the pitch. They weren't able to get into the game. Leeds being narrow, but also our wide players weren't exactly threatening them either. So we had a midfield that weren't able to control the ball. Our wide players weren't really effective, so it was just really hard to break them down. And fair play to these, they did the game plan with Chris Armas, part of their staff. How would we not be in a team with Chris Armas? After what he did to us last season, we deserved that win. But yeah, that means our winning streak at Old Trafford's over. It ended 13, but at least we're still going on an unbeaten streak. There we have that. But yeah, in the Premier League now, that keeps us in third. It moves us 2 points clear of Newcastle. We've on the same game played as them now, so there's no working out. Or we're 3 points ahead of Tottenham with a game in hand of them, so there's still that. Yeah, it's annoying. We should have won. We really should have won. But yeah, it's at least Rashford's still on the score sheet. He's still hot. Sancho back on the score sheet. We need another scorer badly. It can't just be Rashford this whole time. It really can't. But yeah, I think on Sunday we should beat Leeds. I think we learned from this game that we need Casemiro. Really, that's what I learned. Casemiro is just really important. But also, I think Weghorst probably isn't suited to this kind of game. We need pace in transition. When Leeds do create them transitions and we do come out better, we needed a bit of pace to threaten them, and Weghorst wasn't really that at times. But yeah, after that Leeds game, then we got Barcelona, Leicester, Barcelona, and Newcastle in the final. So some big games coming up, really big games coming up. Yeah. So now it's time to talk about the takeover stuff, because news has come out recently that it's been mixed news that some are saying it's the Qatari state fund that have been bidding to take us over. Some saying it's Qatari state fund as a minority. Some may say it's individuals from Qatar. But it's a really mixed news right now, so no one's really on top of it. But yeah, I don't know really how to feel. I don't, if it's state funded, I don't really like that. I really don't. I wouldn't want to be state backed. If it's individuals, that's probably a different story. But then how do you really trust that it is individuals rather than the state? That's the problem. But yeah, if it's a state, I don't agree with it. I don't really want it to happen. But they have the bottomless pit of cash that the Glazers would just want. They'll be willing to cough up at the billions that the Glazers want, and the Glazers have they have no reason not to accept it. They'll look at the money and go, well, we invested what 150 million of our own money. We've already took out what 200, 300 million out the club for ourselves, and now we're going to get 5-6 billion back. Insane investment in just what 18 years. They got an insane return on investment that they put nothing in other than a little bit of money to start, or obviously a bit more than a little bit, but yeah. So if it does happen, then obviously we'll have a lot of money, but I'd rather not have them. To be honest, I'd rather someone else. But if that's it, then you can't do anything about it, can you? Really? That's the problem with these things. Like, you can agree or disagree with one, but at the end of the day, you can't do anything about it. It's like the Qatar World Cup. You can disagree, agree all you want, but at the end of the day, who are you to actually do any change about it? We can't stop them taking over. We weren't able to stop the Glazers, and look what they did. We did to stop trying to stop that, and look what we've done since to try and stop that. Yeah. So if they do take over, yes, you'll be annoyed. Yes, you'll have the ethical considerations about it, but it's one of them ones you can't do anything about it. You just gotta hope that they have come in with good intentions. They come in, trying to, fix the stadium, fix the training ground, upgrade, facilities for the women's team, for the academy, build a women's stadium, rebuild Old Trafford, invest in the squad, clear the debt. There's so many things that they have to do. I think, I know we can't really do this, but you want them to come in with commitments to build a women's stadium that's in Manchester, have an academy stadium as well, have a training ground that's fit for purpose at the highest level for both men's, women's, academies teams. You want them to clear the debt. You want, or at least have a plan to clear the debt. You want them to invest in squad, invest in, the scouting departments, and you want them to do all this stuff. You want them to have plans to build or probably not build a new stadium, but expand Old Trafford, make it, modernise it, have signal inside the ground, or have Wi-Fi inside the ground, so people can actually, be on their phones at times at half time. People just like, it's horrible being inside the ground. If you want to go on your phone or something, you can't do it. But yeah, it's just one of the things. It probably will happen. It will probably happen. Like these US funds that are reported inside do it as well. They have money, but they're not going to go all ends in it. The Qatari will. They have so much money. They have what 300 billion, and if it's not state backed, then they still have all the money from oil and stuff like that. But yeah, the deadline is, according to Mike Keegan, February 17th, so a week and a bit. So we should know soon if there's any other ones public, because so far it's just Jim Ratcliffe that's come out publicly saying we are bidding for it, or at least we asked for the hidden sheets and stuff like that. But yeah, so we don't really know anything about the Qatar bid. We don't know who it is. We don't know who's backing it. So that's kind of a one to look out for in the next few days. US investment firms. You keep saying US investment firms, like who? But yeah, they will obviously all probably come out publicly in the next few weeks. People, unless if they don't come out publicly, they will come out. People with sources and people know the situation. Yeah, at least the Glazers we go on. That's you always have to look on the bright hand side. Like me myself, I'm just a guy watching football. Like, yeah, I will have ethical consideration myself, but at the end of the day, I just want to watch football. That's really what it's about. This is what I'm doing now. I just like talking about football, and yeah, you can't. I'm not gonna be able to do a change myself. I'm not that kind of person. I want to be in the sports media world, but am I really gonna be able to stop a Qatari bid from Manchester United worth billions? No. Once it happens, you not embrace it, but you just got to try and look for the positive, because that's what really you have to do. Yeah, but it's just a bit of downbeat. Like, you come into the Leeds game, it's at home. You want a big result. Being 6-2 in Pines, it was 5-1 at the start of last season, and just the first minute just drained it out of you. It really drained it out of you, and then the comeback to 2-2, it really got going again. But then when nothing really happened, it drains you out again. It really drains you out again. It really does. It really does. But yeah. Leeds game on Sunday is not going to be fun, is it? I feel it's going to be the same scrappy kind of game. That it'll probably be high scoring again. And I don't like games like I really don't like games like that. But this is the first time, other than the Arsenal game, since that 4-2 away to Aston Villa, that we conceded more than 2 goals. So defensively, we're much improved, and it just shows how important Casemiro is to the team, really. The 2 times we've conceded 2 goals in about the last 15 games is without Casemiro. That doesn't show how important he is and how amazing he is. That he made this team look so bad on the transition today to a team the other day that looked so good. He's so important. He's so good. But if that's anything to take away, that we actually have Casemiro, so we actually can fix these problems. Unlike last season where we go, this team can't defend the transition, and then be like, well, we can't do anything about it, but at least we can do something about it. He will be back for the Barcelona game, and then he'll be back for the League Cup final, so at least we have a positive, he'll be fresh for them. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the episode. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.